You're going to listen to an advanced speech. It's of a manual which is called Technical Presentations. And the speaker today is going to be Lily. Toastmaster Lily has been a Toastmaster with this club for quite some time, and she's been very active even in the committee. And she still had the time to prepare this speech for today. Thank you very much, Lily. But before I invite Lily to come to the lectern, I would like to ask the evaluator of Lily's speech to please read the objectives of the speech to us.
Yes. Dear Toastmasters, honored guests, this is the second project of the Advanced Manual on Technical Presentations, and this project is about to forward a proposal. So the speaker is supposed to introduce a proposal, presenting an idea or a product or a service or something like that, and is supposed to use the so-called inverted pyramid method to present it. That means to start with the most important information, the proposal itself and the main message of the speech, and then go further down to more and more detail. And one of the advantages is that if you run short of time, you can easily cut the least important detail towards the end, and the listeners don't have to wait to the end until they hear what is really your main idea. So you start from the main idea, then main supporting points, and go to more and more details. After the presentation, the speaker is supposed to handle about 5 minutes in the question and answer session. And as an evaluator, there are also some ideas in the handbook, in the manual, how to prepare for questions and how to deal with maybe not so friendly questions from the audience and so on. We can practice that. So maybe some of us can think of not so friendly questions to test the speaker, how she can deal with it, depending on the subject. I mean, it doesn't have to be. And then another requirement is that the proposal or the idea should be something of some value of interest to the audience. So I really look forward. That seems to be a very interesting project.
Thank you very much, Otto. And I do invite our guests as well to also participate actively if you like to. Just relax and go along with it. And I hereby invite Lily to give us her prepared speech, and the speech title is Reciprocal Relationships. Reciprocal Relationships.
What's that? Reciprocal relationships? I have a PowerPoint, and I'd like to illustrate to you, next one, thanks, what reciprocal relationships are. This is not only a proposal, welcome, please come in. It's a way of life for me. Give and take action is what we do when we're living. A cell responds to stimuli. Next one. These two positions represent me and you. Next one. We have a reciprocal relationship because you are listening to me. I am telling you something. I'm giving you a stimuli with my voice, with my actions, my message to you. Next. You are also responding to me. You are listening to what I have to say. We call this a subject-object relationship. I'm the subject because I'm the first one that gave the impulse. You are the object because you are responding to my impulse. Next. This reciprocal relationship, the subject-object relationship, is the foundation for all action, existence, and multiplication. Next one. A result of a subject-object relationship, the force, the energy of this give and take action produces energy, force. Next one. And from this, next one, all existence, action, and multiplication comes through this type of give and take action between a subject and object energy. Next one. For example, in our physical body, we have a circulatory system. the blood pumps, the heart pumps the oxygenated blood around the body. It goes to the lungs, it expels the oxygen throughout the body. The carbon dioxide is then expelled through the lungs. New oxygen comes in, and we have circulation between arteries and veins. In the biology book, you will find the red arteries and the blue veins, and they are all over the body. There is a reciprocal relationship between the arteries and veins, which creates the circulatory system in the body. Next one. Same with the nervous system. We have the nerves which receive stimuli, which also respond to impulses. And there is a very intricate, sensitive system of stimuli and response in the nervous system. Next one. The digestion is the same. We take food in, but we can't just continuously take everything in. It has to be processed, and it needs to come out one way or another. And there are some people that take so much in like this that it actually comes out like that as well. That is not a healthy give and take action. That is not a healthy reciprocal relationship. What I'm proposing is that we need to recognize and understand the types of relationships we are in, our position at that particular time, because it's defined by time. It is not an absolute position. In many systems in the physical, in the human body, for a healthy person, there are finite, clear positions, the mind and the body. Next one. With an individual, we have a mind and a body, and the mind is the one that gives the impulse to the body and tells it what to do. Sometimes we get hungry or tired, or we have other drives that push our body into a position to dominate our mind. When we get tired, when we become addicted to something, when we're out of control, when we're drunk. Sometimes our body takes over and the positions are reversed between subject and object. Instead of the mind controlling the body, we become dominated by physical desires or other things. When the reciprocal relationship maintains the correct subject-object order and the mind dominates the body, we say we have a mature, healthy person. Next one. My proposal is that all relationships, all human relationships, what I talked about so far were not only relating to human relationships, there are universal principles that even exist within an atom. There are give and take action between an atom, between a proton and electron within an atom. There are always two parts to a relationship. What I'm talking about now is human relationships, and I got here because of a relationship between a man and a woman. My father and my mother had a relationship, and here I am. I'm the child that resulted from the relationship between a man and a woman. Now, traditionally in many cultures and for many years, this has always been also seen as a subject-object relationship where the subject was understood to be above or better or in control. I maintain that it is important in the mind-body relationship that we recognize and understand subject-object relationships in terms of who's the boss and who should be in control, or who's first and who's next, or who's giving and who's receiving, or who's talking and who's listening. I maintain that for healthy social relationships, we need to recognize and understand these positions are absolutely interchangeable. For example, in a successful marriage, The relationship between a man and woman, husband and wife, is a reciprocal relationship on equal terms. Yes, the man may be the one to be first to give love, and the wife may be the one who responds with beauty, but ultimately those positions are interchangeable and reversible and of equal value. We need to recognize and understand in a successful, in a working, in a good subject-object relationship, in many working, substantial subject-object relationships, the positions are interchangeable. But if you try to take the subject position when you are actually supposed to be fulfilling the object role, your university lecturer might kick you out. Your boss might fire you. You might have other problems when you don't follow the rules. These are universal principles which apply in physics, in science, in biology, in social relationships also. Next. When we establish a successful family relationship where a man and a woman may have created a family and children resulted through the give and take action between a man and a woman, when we have a society full of such people, of such families, of such units, and each individual in each unit, in each family, in each structure recognizes their proper position and fulfills their proper relationship and learns to dominate, boss, take control of the environment, or love and serve the environment, learns to take proper responsibility in the relationship, in the subject-object relationship with the universe, not dominating, exploiting, controlling and taking everything from the environment, but recognizing how to love, give and serve, then we can have a balanced ecology, a balanced economy, a social environment, a government that cares for its citizens, and a world of peace. Next one. My proposal so far was the inverted pyramid, this part here, the give and take action which results in what we have. My proposal is we need the other half of the pyramid. When we have a goal at the top that we focus on, when I look towards a particular goal, a world of peace, and all of my actions are focused on this higher ideal, and those of my objects and all of those that I relate to share that same ideal, then we will all have give and take action and will be able to participate in this reciprocal relationship regardless of position. With my boss, with my children, with my husband, with my grandparents, and that's my proposal. Reciprocal relationships in all directions based on understanding correct give and take action. That's my presentation. Now I'd like to go into the question and answer session. Questions?
I have a question here. Since you've presented this, this reciprocal system, but provided that the action and taking is really taking place and that it's really working. But what do you do if the object does not accept this role? If there's a blockage, what is your proposal? How could you?
That's another series, and that's why it's so important to me to present this principle, because it's when we violate the fulfillment of this principle that our relationships go wrong. So what's important is when I recognize this principle and I fulfill my portion of responsibility. I can't control the other person. I can't make them, but I can try and give them enough information, input, energy, love, information, educate them to a point where they can recognize, just because I'm telling you now what to do doesn't mean that tomorrow you won't be teaching me how to use a computer. So I have exactly that situation where my children did not recognize my authority in certain situations, but if they burnt their finger or if something else happened to them, I was responsible. And it hurt me too. Now I'm in a position where they respect me, but I also go to them for help with all of my electronic issues. Yes?
And it's your, I don't know, it's a definition of reciprocal relationship as interchangeable and reversible. That's really, you know, the convincing to me. But in some societies, for example, like, you know, the remote area of Asia, so the object and subject, you know, the roles are pretty much fixed rather than, you know, flexible. Then how could you suggest the people living in there, the dealing with, you know, the reciprocal relationship and the managing reciprocal relationship?
The most important part where we need to start is recognizing the value. Here at the United Nations, our tenets rest on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and equal rights and equal values. So even though the positions may be hierarchical, men may be placed in a position above women in some societies, when the value of a woman or a child is not reflected, not recognized, then we can turn to the Declaration of Human Rights and insist on recognizing those values. It's on the stick. So it's true that there are many different cultures, and this particular area of the interchangeability of the positions in the relationship, especially within the family, are a little bit controversial, but I maintain that as we continue recognizing and understanding and practicing these principles and fulfilling the needs of each people in their particular role and phase and time, that these principles will be recognized and we will be able to raise the standards and the dignity of women and children around the world. Another question? Thank you.
Lily, could I hire you to come to my home and give a speech to my 17-year-old daughter? That would help. Thank you so much. We now have 1 minute, and everyone is invited to give some feedback to our speaker. You have a slip paper here, and it's the first. Oh, you can actually use more of these if you want, because we only have one speaker. And give some just small comments, whatever feedback you would like to give, constructive feedback.
Much more in the same frequency. So it was great that you made that question to Valerie, because
wonderful speech we got today. And for that, I will call Toastmaster Otto to have his feedback about the session and the speech of Lily today. Please.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and in particular Toastmaster Lily. What a wonderful subject you chose. It is really a fascinating idea. You did a lot of research and you presented it very well. And the topic is really relevant to all. I could see that we were all listening with a lot of interest, and we were all fascinated by your ideas. The delivery was excellent. You had good vocal variety, very good gestures. The slides, the PowerPoint slides, were very clear. They all were very similar. They followed the same pattern, but I think that's a good tactic so that we understand that in another example it's still the same structure. Even though everything was blue, I think that's okay. Normally I would think maybe it would be better to change the colors, but in that case I think it was good to keep everything arranged in a very similar way. That was really good. Since it is an advanced project, I have also some remarks where I was not so sure whether this was already optimized. You had very general, partly abstract scientific ideas, and you gave also examples, but I would have liked to have more very concrete examples. One of your very concrete examples was your parents and their love, and you were the product, the child. This is something really we can imagine. But some of the other things were a little bit general. I think it's also because of the topic, but maybe you could think of more concrete examples where you really pinpoint a very concrete case. Of course, it is very good to explain the difference between a subject-object relationship and a reciprocal relationship. I don't know whether I pronounced this word correctly. And this is really a difference. I think this is something, one of the main points I can take home to remember. What about the inverted pyramid? Well, of course you started with the beginning and the proposal, but I would have liked or preferred if you could really start with a very clear proposal in one sentence at the very beginning. And I think that I missed a little bit. After a few minutes into the speech, you said, my proposal is, and then a relatively long sentence, and towards the end of the speech again you said what the proposal is. So maybe it would be better, in my opinion, to really try to cut it in a relatively short, clear sentence and start with that right in the beginning. The question and answer session was very good. You had only 2 questions, but you answered them very well. And also my compliments to the members who asked the questions. They were also very good questions, which is very helpful for the speaker and also for the audience, because it helped very much to even better understand your point. A small thing at the end, the manual proposes that after the question and answer session, the speaker is supposed to summarize everything and restate the proposal. In a way you did it even, but the last thing which was said was, are there any more questions or something like that? And that spoiled this effect a little bit. You should, after when everybody knows that was the last question, or you should say that was the last question and then summarize everything. That makes a stronger ending. So, it was a wonderful speech and a wonderful subject, and I think we all learned a lot from it.
Now let's move. Fellow Toastmasters, I agree completely. This was an absolutely wonderful meeting, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well. And the first thing we do when we conclude the meeting is we want to ask the guests for their opinion. So next, Marcus, would you like to give us your opinion on the meeting?
Yeah. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to get an insight. And I was particularly impressed about this minutious planning of the whole event, you know, especially for practicing a presentation like this. To have somebody who checks time and shows the green, red, and the red light, sometimes at least. So this was really interesting, and also to observe the body language, which is, yeah, obviously the most important part of every presentation. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank you everybody, and especially Vivian. I like your presentation, it was really great, and I like your diagram, and I find you are really a great speaker, and your communication skills are improved. And actually I would like to speak in your way and also to present, and it was really well done, and actually it was really fun to be here with you today, and to many jokes. I liked it very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
First of all, I'm very honored to be here for the first time. I really liked the personal side, like as in the sense of humor in everybody, to see this professional people to be involved in this kind of humor. So I'm very honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so might not be appropriate. So I'm pushing.
Hours, depending on our program, a bit less, a bit more. It's so positive, and what everybody gives is so positive that the energy really fills me and then leaves me. And as another person that lives to this room, I hope you share the same. So you can, if you have been here already as a guest, you can come again. If you are interested in becoming a member, we can explain to you what is this, how we can do it. And to continue with the closure of the meeting, we always give a